This is not a part of it being my first time, but did nothing with the hands while I was on top. Like, bro.
I'm like picturing it. I'm sorry. I just like.
Yeah, literally.
Abigail Jensen.
Hi.
Welcome to After Curfew.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
So I just want to give the viewers like a little backstory.
Yeah.
How did you step into this sex relationship expertise role?
I was in the TV industry as a writer, and that industry is like very male dominated, can be very toxic. So after the last show I was on, like took a step back and was like, what am I really passionate about? And was chatting to a lot of people in my life, including like older women, and they were talking about how they'd never experienced an orgasm before, like women in their 50s and 60s. I started chatting to some of my friends and realized they were in the same boat, and it was already something I had researched a lot because I was passionate about it. I've always been like super pleasure positive, sex positive, and so I kind of just started sharing the information I knew, and that turned into Vibe Slut, which is
a handle. Like, I am obsessed with that name.
I got a little nervous after creating it because like I saw a list of things that were going out like in 2022, which is when I like started it. Okay. And it was like the word vibe. And I was like, oh no, like
that's my whole brand.
I know. Yeah, I was like, we can't lose that.
Yeah. I feel like I always say vibe.
I vibe with that.
You're talking to 50-year-olds.
Yes.
Realizing they weren't having orgasms.
Yes.
Where did you source your research? Are you just having a lot of sex?
That's a great, like my research about like how to orgasm basically.
Yeah.
I am such like a bookworm, and is that still a term, bookworm?
Anything that you want to be a term today
is a term.
Abigail will be a term.
I'm like Michael Scott, where one, I'm a deep millennial, so I reference The Office constantly. Two, I'm like Michael Scott, where everything I say is the wrong saying. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit wrong. So bookworm, I think, is right though. But so I just like last year I read over like 50 books about sex just to like make sure I want to be telling people accurate, right information, obviously. And so my favorite that I learned or I read that was about orgasming is, I think it's called Becoming Clitorate. And it's just like getting to know your clit and just releasing kind of any shame you have around sex and just fully being able to actually orgasm.
Was this something that you had to work on, or did orgasming and like everything like in the sexual realm, did that come very easy to you, or is this something that you had to research in order to become so experienced? That's
why I did originally research it like 5 or 6 years ago. I realized I listened to someone describe an orgasm and realized I had never had one. Yeah.
I don't think I've had that before.
I faked one, but I
mean, how many times like you faked orgasms?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like with old partners, I like once faked 8 in one session with a guy. Okay,
this is not a theatrical performance. You did not get an Oscar after this, girl.
I know. I'm so mad at myself because he's walking around somewhere.
Like be like, oh, I gave her 8. Well, he'll see this.
I hope
he'll see this and be like,
hope.
Oh, that's embarrassing. No, I've done it too. I usually do it when I want things to wrap up.
Totally.
Like when I'm just over it, I'm just like,
But then it's like, that's so hard because then they learn the wrong way, basically, to make you orgasm.
Part of the problem.
Yeah, because they think like, that jackhammering that you want to end or whatever, they think that, oh my God, I got her off with that. And then they do it again.
No.
So it is a hard little cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal. But so I was like, I need to have an orgasm. People describing it sounds amazing. And it sounds like obviously like one of life's greatest pleasures. And I haven't experienced this. And so I did like a deep dive then into like, I watched different, like I got really into watching different YouTube videos about it and reading different books and there were like different one-off documentaries on Netflix about orgasming. So I got deep into those as well and did what they told me, which was take a clit stimulating vibe to the bedroom, lay a towel down, just test the different areas for as long as I wanted. I like waited till my roommates were, gone because I didn't want to deal with like, are they overhearing me?
It was like, damn, she's really getting it in.
Yeah.
Jesus, okay.
What is going on? And I swear I was in there for like, in the bedroom for like 3 hours because I had never had it before. And luckily people with a vulva, you can keep having them and keep having them. And I was like, wow, like we're going to just keep getting after it.
We're going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And again.
And again.
How old were you?
That was when I was like 24. So pretty, still like had sex a bunch by then.
Yeah.
You know, and hadn't experienced an orgasm.
Like we see like so much like of like what Hollywood like gives to us, like, you know, like what, like, it's like, oh, it's this and it's that, when it's like, it really needs to be like that exploitation and like understanding your body, and like one vibe might be different from another vibe.
It's also like very empowering. You're like, well, I can do this for myself. And you mentioned Hollywood. Yeah. The thing about Hollywood and like the way they, you know, depict sex is so often just penetration. So
Right.
So many people think that's like the way that most people get off, but only like 5-ish% of people can get off with penetration alone if
Really?
you have a vulva. Yeah. So I think that's internalized in a lot of us, that penetration should be the way that we're able to come, when actually the like most reliable way to come is the clit.
Yeah, men need to go to their bedrooms too and figure out, do some research.
Totally.
Absolutely.
And be willing to like listen when like women or people with a vulva say, this is what I like. Because sometimes I've run into guys who've been like, no, I know. Like, I got this covered.
It's like, sir, it's on my body.
Yeah.
Take a seat.
And everyone's different. Like, what works for one person isn't going to work for the next.
Not one size fits all.
Yeah.
And that's like going back to the Hollywood thing where like they think it's just penetration, and like, nope. Like we need some toys, we need some vibes, we need a whole situation. We need a theatrical production down there.
Totally.
A lot of sex is communication based.
Yes.
What would you say like your biggest tip that you would give somebody, how to like be a better communicator in the bedroom?
Trying to communicate like what feels good to your partner specifically while you're doing like having sex and in the bedroom. What you should be doing is using all like positive reinforcement, of course. Never make your partner feel inadequate or like bad about what they're doing. But maybe if they're doing something you don't like as much, you would prefer something else. Say like, hey, like that feels good, but like this side of my clit is really sensitive. Would you mind, you know, trying to like make circles with your finger around it, and making it all about you and like your needs and your body, and not at all about their skill. Be able to communicate your needs without making your partner, you know, feel bad, because it is a sensitive subject, and sometimes you don't want anyone to ever like feel insecure about their abilities. And it's not their abilities usually, it's just that they don't know what you like.
When someone is getting direction in the bedroom, like one can be like, oh, you don't think I'm good? Or like, but like, and I sometimes like, it's an ego that you got to leave at the door.
And even if you make it like more technical, where you're like, this is like the side of my clit that feels good, you know, like,
Yes.
because it's not just even technique. Oftentimes different parts of our clit are sensitive in different ways. Like I'm a left lip girly. Like my left lip is way more sensitive than my right. So like a partner wouldn't know that without me like directing them and telling them that. Yeah.
Do you feel like your partner now has like that same communication?
Yeah, totally. I think luckily me doing this has really like opened things up for conversation. We're like constantly talking about it. And some method I love to tell people if they're nervous to bring up something new they want to try in the bedroom to their partner is using the like I read about it method, which is like which is usually like I saw it on TikTok, or, you know, but you can lie and say you read about it in like whatever, New York Times or some like some fancy, not fancy, but some credible news.
Yeah, not just like saw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
I learned so much on TikTok.
That's true. Like,
I'm sorry.
TikTok is telling us a lot. So you can say, I saw it on TikTok.
I'd be like, valid. Yeah.
So, yeah. But like, I will say to him, like, because often I am reading about it in my books, like I read about this method, like it sounds like it could feel really good. Would you be down to try it with me? And that just opens up into like a whole new world of like exploration.
What would you say for people who do not have like the same maybe like kinks or like things in the bedroom? Do you feel like a relationship could be solid?
I think explaining in a way that doesn't pressure your partner why you enjoy the kink. Like if you have a kink for BDSM, being like, I like this because I feel so in control always in my life. It feels really freeing for me to feel out of control. And you to take control in certain moments, and like Dom me, I totally understand if that doesn't sound like something you're comfortable with. We don't have to do it at all, or we could start really small and start maybe like I'm, handcuffed for like a bit of it, breaking down the kink and starting with as small as possible and seeing if they're comfortable with it.
Pushing the limits.
Yeah.
A little like each time.
And if they're not, you have to accept that. Whoever is not comfortable with something during sex gets the final say, because we need to be consensual. And if they can't satisfy you in that way, hopefully there's another way that they can satisfy you. I think just because two people don't have the same kink or like preference in the bedroom doesn't mean they're compatible, because there's so many, the bedroom is like, there's so much you can always be doing that you'll find common ground somewhere.
Social media has such a big impact on relationships and sex. What would you say like the most positive and the most negative? I'm
going to start with the most negative because my podcast host on Rat Girls brought this up the other week, how she's somehow on the TikTok algorithm that's making her like, where the videos are telling her to break up with her boyfriend.
Oh, I hate when the algorithm, you watch one video and then your whole algorithm is like completely shifted.
Yeah.
Have you had that happen to you?
100%. I'm on this side of TikTok. That's the worst side of TikTok, because it's like, watch this video or like your mom will die or something like that.
Mine is like, once in a while, I'll get a tarot reader. And I'll be like, that kind of resonates with me. And then there'll be like 50 tarot readers. And then I'm like out here like questioning my life, my relationship. Is he cheating? Like, I'm just like, TikTok, you need to chill. Okay.
You need to chill. Not everything applies to every person.
But I get so delulu in my head where I'm like, yeah, this is probably about me.
Yeah.
This message.
100% me. If I don't like this message and share it, or like this video and share it, my mom will die, according to this video.
Do you want your mom to die?
Yes.
I don't think so.
And then I do it because I'm like not the asshole who wants their mom to die. And then of course that's all I get. Oh yeah. So she's on this side right now where it's like, she got into like masculine energy side and feminine energy. And it's like, if your man doesn't have masculine energy, like then you need to leave him. Like if he's not taking care of you. And it's just like, not everyone fits in a box. They don't know you. It's like very generalized. Oh, the internet says we're not compatible in this way. We'll never work. Like, peace out.
Like the zodiacs. Do you check your zodiacs?
Every day.
Okay, what are you? Wait, I kind of want to guess. Because I feel like you're water. Are you like a Pisces?
I wish I were.
You're kind of like nurturing too.
Interesting.
Are you like, what's the motherly one? A Virgo, because you give it good information.
I am a Virgo.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was like a wild ass card. What? Okay, so the worst is just listening to the delulu words.
Yeah, listening without like checking with the people around you, and just taking like, always double check what people are telling you basically on TikTok. Yeah, you can say like dump him, like, which I love. I have a shirt that says dump him, like Britney Spears.
I'm always like, it's like, oh, a man fucked up. Yeah, dump his ass.
Dump
like,
him.
He's trash.
Yeah. But it's like, there's more to it. Usually like relationships are complicated. People are complex.
Yeah.
It would be nice if it's that easy, but then we don't have any like long-term relationships if we're not learning how to grow with someone. So I think that's what to avoid on TikTok.
Yeah.
What to listen to is, I think now I'm going to sound like the tarot card reader.
Oh no.
Anything that resonates.
Like, tell me everything.
Yeah. But I do think TikTok has opened up a lot of places where people, or a place where people can share shared experiences and feel like they're not alone on anything. So when I started talking about like orgasming, and that I had faked an orgasm for so long, or like I faked an orgasm because I wanted sex to end, people were like, I did that too, and in finding out that you're not alone in that way is a really good thing that TikTok can do. And then it can help you like move forward. Like when I was talking about, faking the orgasm stuff, people are like, well, how do we not do that? And then it opens that conversation for people. So I think that's what people should take from TikTok advice wise, is like those shared experiences. And then if it's something they want to change in their life, like looking into it on their own, doing their own research and figuring out how to move forward.
Yeah, there really is that sense of community.
Yeah.
Like you could find anything on TikTok, and it's like that thing where it's like, I've never had a original experience. Totally. It's like you really haven't, because that is so true, especially like with sex. it's like the orgasm thing. Like I think every girl can relate to faking an orgasm.
Yeah.
Not understanding an orgasm, then having your first orgasm. Like those are all such relatable like experiences. What is that saying? Canon experience. Isn't that what it's called? That's it. Yeah, they really are canon events.
Totally. Like having a guy rub your thigh instead of your clit is a canon event. Like everyone goes through it. And it's like, now we all know we go through it. What can we, do going forward to make sure that doesn't if someone does rub our thigh, we say, hey, it would actually feel a little better to the left or the right. Yeah. Why don't you try that? That's where it feels best to me. So we don't have to relive those canon events over and over again.
If you can give yourself, your younger self, one piece of advice when it comes to sex, what would it be? Your
pleasure matters. Like that, I was all about the show, like for my partner.
Same.
I was putting on the show of a lifetime. Making my partner feel good, making my partner feel like they're doing a really good job, and then when I had heard someone describe an orgasm and realized I hadn't ever had that, I was like, oh fuck, I need to get to that. And once I had it, even afterwards though, sometimes in sex I didn't feel comfortable like spending time or space focusing on me, because I was always so worried about like if they are enjoying themselves. Yeah. And it's like, they're hooking up with you. Of course they're enjoying themselves. Yeah. They're thinking this is fucking awesome. Like,
right.
And I was so stressed about them liking me back that I wasn't worried about what I needed in those moments. And so I would tell my younger self, slow down, let yourself take up space, let yourself get there, and not feel pressure to get there in a certain time limit. And just like enjoy it because you deserve to.
In my young 20s, like I was giving the show of a lifetime.
All eyes on me in the center of the stage, just like a circus, like
when I crack that whip.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the rest of the words?
I don't know. I should know.
Are you a Britney Spears fan?
I have work bitch tattooed on my side.
Can I see?
Yeah, of course. I'm like,
oh my God. Like the millennial within me. Like,
yeah. So millennial of me.
Have you read the book?
Oh, of course.
What are your thoughts on it?
One, proud of her, because just for like coming forward, telling her truth. Also just so sad for her that she like experienced so much, and mad on her behalf, like at the world, basically, at Justin, like
fuck you, Justin,
my fiance. In my first fight, our first date, we talked about Justin because he's a huge Justin fan. What? And I'm a huge Britney fan. And it was like our first, like, we were like, wow, we're stark cross lovers. You like Justin, I like Britney. She gave us so much.
She gave us everything.
Literally
like, people
everything.
do not understand. Like I will ride for Britney. To be like a pop star in that era is like insane.
I don't know if you watched that like Hulu documentary about her.
I did. Yeah.
She couldn't even like walk a foot without there being like a million people around her. Walk one of her bare feet without a million people being around her.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's just like, that's no way for anyone to live.
I was just watching Hit Me Baby One More Time literally 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
I scrolled up on my TikTok. Algorithm was algorithming that day. Thank you. But I was like, it said something like she was 15 or 16. I'm like, that is crazy because she looks like she's like mid-20s in
totally
not a bad way, but like so sexualized.
Yes.
And it's
the fact that she had that work, one, maybe had that work ethic, but also was being forced to have that work ethic at that time. Like that, doing that as a teenager I can't imagine. Like I was like skipping class. Like I had no responsibilities and I wasn't doing.
What was your vibe as a teenager? Were you having sex as a teenager?
No, I didn't have sex until I got to my first year of college.
Really?
I lost my virginity in my dorm room.
Wait, can you give us like the whole story?
Yeah,
let's dive into it.
Oh my God. I lost my virginity in my dorm room. My roommate.
Don't tell me she was next to you.
She was like, I'm going to bed, and like, good luck. And like that time is like, oh God.
Can you imagine just like put the earpods in?
Literally.
Like,
yeah, like, okay. Guy came over. I had like made out with him before and stuff. We had been friends for a long time. So there was like some comfortability there. Started hooking up. I was really dry. Which I was
Makes
like
sense.
Drinking that dries you out in college, drinking. And so I was like, let's try using, I didn't know any better, this Aveeno lotion. Just like as a lube, basically.
Oh, no. That sounds like a
so that was
UTI ready to happen.
Bad idea. Like yeast infection immediately, basically.
On site.
But so it was interesting because he knew it was my first time. And he was like, okay, like, why don't you hop on top? And I was like, what?
How?
Yeah. What do you want from me? He was like, you're doing it wrong. At one point he said that to me and I was like, I don't know. Like, what do you,
Meanwhile, we got the roommate just hanging out in the back.
She's asleep. Like,
traumatized for life.
Headphones in. Luckily, she's like one of my best friends.
Oh, still?
Yeah,
I love that.
She's like
you
a
guys
bridesmaid.
Like trauma bond and laugh over
trauma bond over all our freshman year roommate experiences. But she actually, like, before he got there, this was like right when Pitch Perfect came out, and before she got there, she was like on the floor drunk, like practicing the Cup song. So that was like my lead in. Yeah. My foreplay, if you say.
She's not
She's
the
setting
foreplay.
the mood. Yeah.
That is hilarious.
So she was probably like just had that in her ears or something as she was falling asleep, listening to the Cup song on repeat. And yeah, it was really like to be on top your first time when some people are empowered by it and are like, oh, I can like gauge, you know, what feels good because like I can put them in an amount that's not going to hurt me basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Where I was the opposite because I was still focusing on like
your performance,
my partner.
Hello, circus.
And
you're
like
on the second leg of your world tour, babe.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is where it all begins. And yeah, so that was really when he told me I was doing it wrong, just like shattered my ego immediately. Like, and I think then eventually I convinced him, or not convinced him, but eventually he was like, I'll get on top. Like, I'll do that. And I'm like, thank God. Like,
do something.
Yeah, what literally, like.
Clearly it's not, it is my first rodeo.
Yeah,
like.
it is my first. And also, this is not a part of it being my first time, but did nothing with the hands while I was on top. Just like laid limp next to his side. Like, bro.
Wait, stop. I'm like picturing it. I'm sorry. I just like.
Yeah, literally. Like so awkward. No reassurance. Actually, opposite of reassurance. No,
0 stars.
No need for me.
1 to 10. What would we rate that experience?
0. You know,
absolute 0.
I'm glad it happened. It was like ripping the Band-Aid off, unfortunately, which I think a lot of like first sex experiences are for people.
They have to be. I don't know. Like mine was nothing romantic and nice.
Was it?
Like, it was a drunk club experience. And I'm like, I can't turn 21 and never have sex. So I'm like, I just found a guy at the club and we fucked.
Wow. In the club?
No, that'd be really hot.
That would be iconic. I would be like, wow.
Yeah, I should just say that. Yes, it was at the club. No, we went back to his house and had like the most awkward sex.
Yeah, that's the main thing is it's just like awkward. And it's like beautiful because it's awkward, kind of, because like all sex is a little awkward.
Right.
But it's nothing to like write home about. Like,
literally, I mean, haven't talked about it since.
Afterwards, it kind of like demystifies the whole thing for you because you're like, okay, like, that's fine. Like, what's the big deal about?
There is so much like hype and build up to it. And then I'm like, that sucked. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, this was not what I expected. Again, going back to like the Hollywood, like, oh my gosh, there's passion. Yeah, we're sweating.
We're gonna like, come at the same time. Like,
yeah. Like, no, I was drunk off probably like, what did you ever have like what was your like younger drink that you would pick? Mine was like a cranberry vodka. Like drunk off cranberry vodkas.
Literally cranberry vodka, but like the worst kind of vodka. Like rubbing alcohol. Yeah, we had like this thing called Congress. I'm from Missouri. That was like I'm
from Chicago.
I know. So I know that I need to ask you about because my dad's whole side of the family is like from Chicago.
Oh, really?
And my sister just moved here from Chicago. If I weren't here, I'd be there.
Yeah. It's like since I grew up there, I feel like I have like a different take, but like it is such a nice city.
And so walkable.
Yeah. That's the thing except winter.
Yeah. Except for like the 6
months
here.
It's like stay in, hibernate, order Chipotle, and just like fuck off for like 2 months, 3 months.
Which actually is really nice. Like no pressure like to go out and do anything.
I know that is kind of nice.
Like
here, I feel like if I don't go out, I'm like, ugh, the sun's out. I'm just like this piece of shit sitting at home.
Totally.
That's why I kind of love the seasons.
Yeah.
Like I miss the seasons because I like to be like in my hibernation era. I don't get that here.
No one will see me for 3 months. Like
pale, pasty.
Like nothing matters.
Right now, I'm so pasty right now. You know, like when you're like winter foundation. My winter foundation is like not blending with my neck, but that's okay. I'm trying to own it. How did we get there?
Oh, the virginity story. But that was really my origin story about like teaching this dick riding class, is like this man telling me I was doing it wrong. I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to find out how to do it right. Fuck you. Like,
did you guys ever hook up again, or was that like a one and done?
We hooked up like one more time, but it was just like, we were like, what are we doing here? Sometimes it takes hooking up with someone to realize you actually have no chemistry with them. I was big about like romanticizing a person, building them up in my head, which is not healthy, not good. And then like by the time that the thing actually happened, it was like, oh, this was different in my head.
That is so true. When you do have sex, I mean, it completely shifts.
Totally.
There's chemistry, like it either heightens or it's like,
or you're like,
there wasn't any.
Shit. And just because it is like shit, it doesn't mean it can't get better, like within getting to know each other's bodies and stuff and like what people like. But no, I used to be like fuck on the first date, like kind of girl. Like I was just like, we're getting after it. Like
I see what I'm working with.
Like I'm needy too. Like I'm like needy for sex and needy just in general. I'm like, when I met my fiance, he had chlamydia. And so
I love how you're just publicly telling, it's like, sorry,
baby. And so it kind of forced us to wait. And
did he share that information?
Yeah, he had
on
told
the first
me
date?
on the first date that like,
okay, kudos to him for being open and
I
honest.
know. Well, he was like saying basically he was waiting to hear back on if he had it. He had just had a test. So I knew on the first date, like, well, we got to wait, you know. And then on the second date, like a week later, it was like, yeah, I have it. Like now I have to wait another week to take these pills. And I was like, okay. But then like on the second date, things kind of started getting like hot and heavy. And don't do this. But in my mind, I knew I'm like, chlamydia is one of the easy ones. Like that's
like, if I'm a bird, you're a bird. Or what's notebook? Chlamydia. The love story.
I'm all for people fucking on the first date. Like do it if you want to. But I do think there was also value in us waiting a little bit.
You wouldn't think of somebody differently if they were having sex on the first date, but I do feel like so many people think that.
Yeah, it's weird, especially like, I think, I don't want to project onto all men, but
yeah,
it still seems like in this day and age, it's changing, but I do feel like weirdly a lot of guys have some weird thoughts around body count, which is not good.
I think if anybody asks me, I've been asked that question.
Yeah.
I think it's such a like, this like childish question.
Such a child. And to me, if someone like cares about that or asks, it's like immediate red flag. Like, what are we doing here?
Like, this is not like,
and that's not someone I want to be with.
No.
But I do like you said, I think that some people might carry a weird prejudice still, like about fucking on the first date, or a bias against people who do, even though sometimes men want to, but then like they can write you off. But afterwards, but also it's like, is that a guy you really want to be with if that's what their, you know, reaction to fucking on the first date is going to be?
I think we all get like so in our heads about like, when's the right time? Like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm a slut. But it's like, oh, it takes two to tango. I think that's the thing I have such a problem with is like, if a girl has sex on the first date, she's a slut. She's not a vibe slut. She's a slut. And then it's like, if the guy does, it's like
good job. Great job. No, and that's why I think it's like, if someone carries that prejudice or that bias, like that's just not someone I would personally want to be with, because like let a woman embrace her sexuality. And just as a society, like no walk of shame, like walk of celebration. What was it? Amber Rose did the slut walk. Like,
oh my gosh, that was an era.
I know. And it's like, yeah, it's like, that's what I think society is more moving that way. But I still think there's like conversations that need to be had about like to young men, especially. That's just like, hey, like you're doing it. Everyone's doing it. Like that's not anything to judge anyone about. Like let people embrace their sexuality, and us talking to young men. So like Andrew Tate doesn't talk to young men.
I want to move it. We do, you guys, everybody, we have some special guests here.
Oh yeah.
Should we bring the girls out?
Let's bring the girls out.
We'll bring like a little theme song, the cup song.
The cup song.
I don't even know. I don't know how people did it.
I never
That's
learned
literally
it.
like, that's me. It's golden and it's beautiful.
That's how everyone should feel about their vulva.
I feel like so many people, like, a few of my friends are like, I have such an ugly vagina. I'm like, that's awful to say.
No.
Like, each vagina, it's different. They're beautiful.
They're beautiful. They're like their delicate, like, own little flower, like unique. Like, no, every vulva is gorgeous. If people ever feel insecure about their vulva, check out the vulva gallery. It's on the internet. You can see what like real vulvas look like. They're so diverse and like, yeah, just feel empowered by your vulva.
Right.
It's
I mean, like,
awesome.
as you look at every person, it's like, we're all different. Like, why would your vaginas be like copy paste?
Exactly. And like, think about what your vulva is doing for you. Like, you know, it's doing
a lot.
doing a lot.
She's doing
like
the most. What would you say the best position is?
Yeah.
For a female orgasm?
That is a great question. Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, anything that can stimulate the clit. And my personal favorite position is like lazy doggy, where I'm like laying on my front and then my partner's behind me and like laying on top of me. So we're like,
I'm like, I need like a diagram.
yeah, it's like little turtles. I'm
like,
like, here's me, here's my partner, and then they're like pressing up into me, and it is penetrative, but because of that angle, it like
you're getting that rubbing,
yes,
you're getting that friction
against the seat, and then also they can take their hand and put it, you know, against your clit and start playing with it. So anything that allows for you or your partner to play with your clit, also like being on top as someone with a vulva is really great, because then you can take control of, you know, if you're grinding back and forth, you can be hitting your clit on their body. And then also you can like hold a toy up.
Okay, we're going to move to a game.
Great.
How are we feeling?
Good. I'm going to put the girls away.
Yeah, they've been amazing. Oh, we never talked about her.
This one?
Hi.
Hi. This is what I use for my writing class. I put this on my little dummy, and then like I didn't actually have sex with it. That's the one thing about my class. It's like, it's not explicit at all. It's like, because I think some people might hesitate to see something like explicit when trying to learn. And so I treat it like I'm like a Mr. Rogers for...
You're the Mr.
Like,
Rogers of writing.
Yeah, I'm just like, here's our friend, Craig, you know, like we're gonna get on top of him. And you don't see me actually go on top of him, just like next to and around and all that good stuff.
Yeah. What would you say your favorite courses that you have?
I really loved making the blowjob class. I don't know why. It's just... I think that's something that people have a lot of misconceptions about. And so I think that I hopefully was able to help people feel comfortable in their abilities and not like they have to like deep throat every single time they're sticking a penis in their mouth, because that's not very realistic.
It's not realistic. Yeah. What's like the biggest takeaway for giving that gluck gluck, that amazing blowjob? What would you say is like the best tip?
Hands. Like it's all about the hands. They're doing the majority of the work.
Don't let them be flaccid.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like the cowgirl. Don't let them be flaccid. Bring them in.
They're doing the majority of the work. Your mouth isn't really applying that much pressure. I mean, it feels really good. It's stimulating good parts of the penis, but like, man, those hands are doing everything. So don't be afraid to use them. I feel like a lot of people feel like it's like, let's get the mouth as, you know, get it as deep in the mouth as we can and like do a lot of fancy things with our tongue. And it's like, no, that's great if you can, and it can feel amazing to your partner, but just like get those hands going.
Get the hands going.
Yeah.
A little ball play.
A little ball. Don't be afraid of the ball. Don't be afraid of the booty if they're into it. The prostate's in the booty. So, you know, stimulate it. They will come very quickly.
They will come and they will come back.
Yes. Yeah.
Period. Okay. Are we ready for a game?
Yes. So ready.
We're going to bring, because we were talking about a lot of like nostalgia.
I love nostalgia.
Ad-libs? Mad Libs.
Mad Libs.
Not ad libs. Is it? Mad Libs.
Mad Libs. Yeah.
Mad Libs. How many times can we say it? One more time. Mad Libs.
Mad Libs.
Okay.
I feel good.
So I'm going to go through a series of Mad Libs.
Okay.
And you're going to fill in the blank.
Great.
Okay. The craziest place I've had blank was blank.
Ooh, the craziest place I've had sex was, the craziest place I've had sex was Yosemite.
Ah, outside?
Yeah, an outdoors girl.
Love a little nature moment.
I know. It was
fun.
lovely, beautiful, like on the trail.
On the trail?
Yeah.
Were you like mid-hike and you just had to fuck?
Mid-hike. It was like nighttime, so no one was around anymore. We technically probably should not have been on the trail anymore and just got after it.
Hey, You gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
The most unusual thing in my nightstand is blank.
Ooh. The most unusual thing in my nightstand is handcuffs. I don't know if that's that unusual, but I love them and I use them often.
You're a handcuff girly?
Recommend. Oh yeah. I
Like you get handcuffed or your partner gets handcuffed?
I love being handcuffed, but like when I'm very lucky, I get to handcuff him.
Is he more dominant?
He's often does the more dom stuff, which I love because I feel like, toss me around a little.
I know. I'm like, throw me around.
Yeah.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
My sex life can be described as a cross between blank and blank.
Okay, this is going to be horrible and so millennial.
I can't.
Tell me. Sex life can be described as a cross between The Notebook and 50 Shades of Grey. Because I feel like we're very romantic. We're still connecting. We're continuing to date each other. We're very like kind to each other, but then we're also not afraid to get like kinky and, try new things together.
I think you have to have that balance. Like that's actually such a good way to put it. So beautiful. Because you do need that, like you're still dating your partner, still learning, the romance is alive. And then if I want to be handcuffed on a casual Tuesday,
exactly.
I'm gonna do it.
Like respect me in everyday sense, but disrespect me like in the bedroom.
My least favorite sex position is blank because blank.
I think, my least favorite sex position is doggy because it's poking my insides. I love the look of doggy. I would love if I could see what I looked like from behind.
Bring a mirror.
Ooh, that's good. Because I know doggy's hot and it's like hot looking, but it's just like, it really does not hit my inside, especially if I'm like PMSing, like the cramping and everything going on down there. It's just like, well, let's try something new.
I blank once and I'll never do it again.
That's a hard one.
We're asking all the pressing questions
Yeah,
here
you
after
really
curfew.
are. Oh my God, you're hard-hitting journalists here.
Thank you. Oh my God.
I blank once and I will never again. I faked an orgasm. I mean, more than once. And I will never again.
It's like a power. It's like I'm taking back my power and I will never do that again.
Yeah.
I'll never let someone think they got me off when they absolutely did not.
You have to work for it to get me off.
You better work, bitch.
Yeah,
bring it back to the tattoo and Britney
bitch.
full circle. The most embarrassing moment during sex was blank.
I've had so many.
Same.
The thing about sex is it is just embarrassing and awkward, which is why it makes it beautiful. It's like so vulnerable.
Yeah.
The most embarrassing moment of sex I've had during sex was, I kind of blame the guy for this too. I mainly blame the guy for this.
I just blame all men all the time, but go on.
But when I kept going, because I didn't know he came, because he made no indication that he came at all, and I was writing. And so I went for like 15 extra minutes, and I didn't know he was just like literally getting softer inside of me.
Yeah, you have to like do some type of I'm coming or give me some type of like facial expression.
Some moaning, some groaning.
I mean, look alive, bitch.
Yeah.
Cameras
You're
are
on. Yeah.
Yeah, that would throw me off too.
No, it really threw me off. And then he like ghosted me after it. And I was like, question mark? Like I was just confused. I was like,
we're all confused.
Yeah.
Do you tell your partner you're coming?
Oh, yeah. And right after I came, I say like, oh my God, I just came. Just because sometimes I do come a little silently. Like I don't want pressure on how I come, but I will let them know in some way that I came.
Right. I mean, because sometimes like, you got to like be concentrated. I'm quiet.
Yeah.
It's like, that's when I'm like, it's going to be a good orgasm.
Totally.
But yeah, afterwards, I'm always like, damn.
Yeah. That was so good.
Yeah. I feel like it goes back to the communication. Like you have to be verbal with your partner. Like you have to, like, you can't be riding a dick for 15 plus minutes.
Yeah, as it's slowly getting
you're
flaccid.
working out. You're not even having sex. You're in a
I didn't have my
class.
Apple Watch on, so it like didn't count for anything.
No, you didn't close your circles.
I know.
Damn it.
Brutal.
The best thing you learned being a sex and relationship content creator is blank.
Ooh, okay. The best thing I learned being a sex and relationship content creator is don't worry about if they like you back. Focus on if you like them. That goes for in the bedroom, in relationships, like when you're dating. Like I am an anxious attached person. So my biggest thing I would do would be like, do they like me? Do they like what I'm doing? Do they like, and it's like, sit with yourself for a second. Do you like them? Do you like what they're doing? Is what they're doing in the bedroom feel good? So just like feeling empowered to like, I don't know, trust yourself and like know that you're worth like deciding basically.
Yeah, like it doesn't really matter what they think. I mean, it does, but like you have to love yourself first and the rest will like come.
Totally. That love yourself is like the biggest.
Literally come.
Yeah, literally CUM.
CUM. If sex positions had Yelp reviews,
Ooh.
blank position would get blank stars.
Ooh, oh my gosh. If sex positions had Yelp reviews, to me, reverse cowgirl would get 10 stars. Oh, I guess Yelp is out of 5. But
we're going to give it 10 today.
10
it's your
today.
world.
Oh my God. There's something about being reverse for me that gives me so much more control. Like being able to balance on my partner's thighs kind of. And I'm a thigh girly. So I'm like, this is a great little view. As long as I'm not a foot girly though. So like socks are on.
You have sex with socks on?
Yes.
I feel like I can't do that.
Really? Oh.
I don't know. It just throws me off.
No, I like my socks to be on, my partner's socks to be on.
Just butt ass naked.
Naked socks.
What kind of socks are we talking?
We're talking like scrunch white socks, like
not the ankles.
It's looking like it's looking 80s where they like scrunch down.
Oh, scrunch sock. Okay.
Yeah. No, the little ankle socks.
There is nothing. I'm sorry.
That's my biggest ick.
Really fat. Me too. The ones that are like, okay, like as I'm wearing ankle socks, but no, you know the ones that guys wear where it goes like this?
No, where it's meant to
you could see.
Go below. Like if they were wearing like a Sperry, which no one's wearing a Sperry anymore, but like.
If you're wearing a Sperry,
what are you doing?
I have a lot of questions for you.
I'm obviously deep millennial, but like.
Yes, no, but traumatized. That's our trauma.
By the Sperry's and then the tiny little socks they would wear under the Sperry's. Like, that is my biggest ick.
Those, yeah.
Like, I actually rather you go barefoot than wear
I would hope.
those. Yeah. Yeah.
I would be very concerned. Ew. Okay. Wait, what are your other top icks?
Okay. Another top ick is I had this boyfriend. This is so niche, but I had this boyfriend who had some neck pain, which like is horrible. Like that's not good. But he had like a neck hammock.
Ew, you have neck pain? Ick.
Yeah. He had a neck hammock that he would just like lay his neck in. Like, I'm like, just hold your neck up.
Oh, just be a man. Hold your neck up. No.
I don't know. My biggest ick though is like, which is more of just like a red flag, but is like if ever a guy doesn't get a girly thing, like I'm like, you don't understand how this is for the girls and like you're not fully supportive of it. Like I want a guy to be a girl's girl too. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're not, that's a huge ick for me. Like if you're like gross, like Twilight, like why do people like Twilight? I'm like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, fuck you.
Like the girlies like Twilight. So like get on board.
You know what? I've never seen Twilight.
Wow. It's fine. Oh. There's better vampire content out there.
And I recently just saw Harry Potter. So I feel like I'm the worst millennial.
Oh my gosh. You weren't like identifying as your Hogwarts house. I respect that because that's what I was doing.
Were you? Now
cringe.
I've seen it. I've seen them all.
Okay,
so
I tested on Pottermore. So
tested positive for
Gryffindor.
Chlamydia and Gryffindor.
And so Gryffindor was my house. I had I was such a deep Harry Potter. But like Harry Potter was like fully my upbringing, and like I had like the Gryffindor cloak. It was like the most expensive item of clothing I owned for a long time. It was like $150.
Fuck designer. She's got a Gryffindor cloak.
Fuck designer. I'm wearing Gryffindor.
What are you wearing tonight? Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
No.
It's actually from Hogsmeade. I think I might have like kind of scammed the quiz a bit to like get there. Like
you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah,
you
like
knew the questions that needed to be
answered like what I thought Harry would answer. Because if I had to really like look at myself in a mirror and evaluate, I think I would be a Hufflepuff.
Really?
Yeah. Which is like they're just known for being like friendly.
Oh, I can see that.
Thank you.
It goes back to the Virgo energy.
Yeah.
Like, you're just very like I feel like Virgos, they're like motherly and like they have great information. They're like the go-to friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Hufflepuff makes sense.
Hufflepuff, even though I really wanted something more for my life.
Sometimes we just have to settle.
Yes. Settle with Hufflepuff, but don't settle with fake orgasming. Don't settle with guys who are rubbing your thigh.
Don't settle for less.
Yeah. Period.
And that's on self-love.
Yeah. Queen. Yes.
Yes.
Slay.
Queen. Period. Slay. Hashtag. All the things.
Slay mama. Yes.
Slay mama. Period. Abigail, it has been so amazing. Miss
so
Vibes
amazing.
Slut, the queen of the vibes.
Oh my God. It has been so great chatting to you.
This has been so fun.
I'm obsessed.
I'm obsessed with you.
Obsessed with you.
We're going to talk about Britney Spears for like an hour after this, but thank you so much for being on the After Curfew podcast.